Well, thanks everyone for coming tonight. I guess I would call this, or I'd like to welcome you to Phase 2 of the District 5M1 Officer Training. And this is the one where we concentrate on the zone chairs. So I want to say welcome to everybody and thanks for coming. So what I'd first like to do is start out with a pledge. If we could all stand, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Leadership is hard to define. Let us be the ones to define it with justice. Leadership is like a handful of water. Let us share it with those who thirst. Leadership is not about watching and correcting. Let us remember it is about listening and connecting. Leadership is not about telling people what to do. Let us find out what people want. Leadership is less about love and power and more about the power of love. As we undertake the role of leaders, let us be the servant leader. In leading us, let us never fail to follow. In loving, let us never fail. Amen.
I thought what I'd first do, though, is I'm going to introduce myself. I know a lot of you probably know who I am, but I'm the GLT chair for the district. So, and my name's Tim Ritchie. Been a Lion for quite a few years. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be introducing the speakers. And first of all, I want to thank you for coming all this way from St. Cloud and driving through the Twin Cities traffic or whatever the case may be. I used to commute to the Twin Cities every day, so I kind of know what that's like. But I'd like to introduce Trish Thiel, and she's from the zone. She's a zone chair from 5M8, which is in St. Cloud.
Yep.
Thank you.
Okay, so who are my zone chairs? Okay, here is your folder, and that's for that. There's reasons for that. Wow. There's K. Maybe.
Thank you.
Zone chair. You both of you? Okay. I have to grab one more. There you go. I'm glad I grabbed them all.
Thank you, Candy. I'm still a zone chair for another month.
I know. Well, I have an extra bag. So for the ones that were left out, because we don't want to leave anybody out, we will open these. There you are. Okay. So the reasons is there's multiple reasons why to be a Lion, but a million reasons why you would want to be a zone chair. So, and I'm going to go through my list of reasons why, what works for me, and so we'll open this bag for anybody that got left out. So, okay, let's put these right here. Don't forget that. Okay, so thank you for the introduction. I have been a zone chair. I am completing my second year, and when I was asked to be a zone, actually, I was asked to be a district governor, but I did not want to do that because I was not ready. And the reason why I wasn't ready is I still work full time, which so does my husband, but I have the qualifications to do it. I just didn't feel like I personally was ready. So then I had multiple people telling me, do it, you really should. And I was like, no, but maybe I want to do something else. So when I found out that the zone chair position was opening, I called our district governor at the time and said, so what are the duties? What do I need to do? And he says, well, it's really fun and it's easier than being a president. And I thought, it's not that bad to be a president. I was a president 3 times. So I thought, I can do this. Well, I don't know if I'd compare it to being like easier than being a president. But if you have a good host club to host your meetings, do you guys do that here?
Yes.
Yes? Okay. Because then they get to do all the work. And then that's the easy part. So, then my husband says, well, if you're not going to be a district governor, then I should be. And I was like, I think that's a really great idea. I said, you should follow Terry. Terry's our district governor right now. She has a very good momentum going with our district. And this is how we met Susan, is my husband is going to be the district governor next year for 5M8. So that is how we met Susan, and it has been wonderful. So I do give you a little bit of like a yellow packet. So what we'll do is we'll go over my 3 pages, and if you have any questions, you don't have to wait until the end. We can answer them as they go, because otherwise sometimes what happens is when I'm at the 5th line and then the end of it, you're like, oh, I had a question, but then I forgot. So, anyways, we will start with that. Okay, well, let's maybe introduce yourself to me.
That would be fine because I have not introduced, we were gonna wait till but that's great, let's do it.
Okay, okay. So we'll start with you.
I'm Second Vice District Governor Terry Zabel.
Okay.
Gary Tomey.
So say what zone you're gonna be from.
I'm from Adams.
Zone 4.
Zone 4.
Zone 4.
I'm Vanessa Machado from the Crescent, I think zone 3.
2.
Go ahead.
Oh, Kevin Watson from Zone 6.
Okay.
Claudia Belcourt, zone
3.
3.
Pat Schlickemeyer, Zone 1.
Okay.
And we're missing
You
zone
heard-
5.
Yep.
Okay.
Tim Ritchie, GLT.
Thank you.
And then that guy standing back there.
Past District Governor Joe Schlickemeyer.
Okay. Well, nice to meet you all. Thank you so much for having faith in me that I can do this, because, I mean, I don't do it a lot, but I do like to do it. And so then when I did go to my first district governor training, or I'm sorry, oh gosh, you see you said past district governor, when I did go to my first zone training, I was like, okay, you know, I have been to a lot of zone meetings. I thought they were a little stale. I felt like people were just going to another meeting. And so I thought, we need to change this, because if we don't, we're just not gonna get many attendance. And then COVID happened. And I was like, oh, there's all my people. Nobody wants to go. I couldn't find host clubs because some of them weren't even meeting. Some were, and I could not do the Zoom. I just, for a zone, I just said, you know what? If I have 5 people or 10 people or 40, I'm going to have a zone meeting, because I want to make sure that it stays, you know, keep people going, because if you don't go, it's easy to not come back. So I had the meeting, and my attendance kept increasing as the year. So, and then the second year was way better, because then people started meeting. But, so I'll just go through my sheets, and like I said, if you have any questions, raise your hand, and I'll answer them the best that I can. But the first one is understand the goal of the district team. District governor goals for the year and help them to achieve. My first zone meeting, I had the list of goals. We went through them. I had the GST there to talk about the service goals. I had leadership there only because the district governor came and her husband happens to be the GLT. So, and somehow I ended up with a GMT there. So I don't even know how it happened, it just did. And I had multiple people there, and then I had my 2 speakers there too. So, help the district governor to achieve their goals. Schedule a regular meeting for each of the clubs. That's what we have to do. I have nine clubs in my zone. I have to attend each meeting at least once a year. Yeah.
Yeah, that's quite a few.
Yeah, it's a lot. And so I had to try to coordinate my club was easy because obviously I'm always there. But so, and it gives you an understanding of each club and helps them to have a go-to person. If they're having problems in their club, what can I do, things. So we have to, that's one of our goals and one of our recommendations to be a zone chair is we have to visit each club in our zone. And the goal is to have healthy clubs in your zone. Service projects, membership growth, retaining membership is definitely a plus. It's easy to bring members in, but it's almost a challenge to retain them as well. So communication is very important. Good leadership, proper training, of course. This is why we come to these trainings, to get ideas and to know what works and what doesn't work. So, and then club reporting, of course. Keep your clubs informed. You are the district contact you are the direct contact from the district governor to your zone. So the only way that they're gonna get the information is from you, the zone chair. And updates from the district to each zone meeting. Have fun, have fun. I will stress this throughout my, I will only do things that are fun. I don't like to do things that are boring. Then I don't wanna go. So I just said, okay, what can we do? I want good speakers. I'm a little bit extra, and I'm not saying this to be like, but I love to decorate. I do. So I'm like, oh, I brought decoration. Not everybody, that's not a recommendation, but it was spring. I had spring. It was on St. Patrick's Day. Wear green. Some shamrocks were thrown all over the place. It was fall, so I had to, decorate for fall, and we had candy, and so nobody has to really do that, because then when I did find my replacement for my zone, she goes, do I have to do all that? I was like, no. She goes, but it's fun. I was like, okay, then you can if you want, but there's not really a zone budget. I don't know if you guys have one. We don't really have one, so I have the decoration at home, whatever. So be creative and, play an interactive game, icebreakers, especially the first meeting, New clubs, new members, maybe new secretaries, usually new presidents, hopefully. So relax and have a relaxed atmosphere, It's fun. Pretend it is not just another meeting. So. And get your host club involved. Have host club pick the location and pick the meal. Start the Pledge of Allegiance, do the invocation. And also have a fundraiser for that host club to put in their administration account. 50-50 raffle, a silent auction, anything that you can think of. We did 50-50 throughout the year, and some of them brought in 100 to 150 for their admin fund, just by, having a 50-50 raffle at our zone meetings. So, make the meeting welcoming. Have greeters at the table. Most likely they probably have to sign in anyway, so have the host club, greet them, welcome them, of course decorations, candy, desserts, whatever. Somebody suggested, I never did it, but I thought it was super fun, a traveling lion, like a trophy. And what it is you give it out to the most participation in a club, and then the club brings it back, then the most participation again. So it becomes to be like bragging rights, of course, everybody we get to take a lion, but then we have to bring it back. But maybe, so that was suggested at one of my zone trainings, but I never did it. But it is kind of fun. So if you want to do something like that. And then set goals for yourself for your year as zone chair. Some of mine was to have fun. More participation at zone meetings. We only sometimes get the president if we're lucky. Sometimes we only get the secretary. You want to get them new members that don't really know what a zone meeting is, and then you got to hook, line, and sinker them. Get them there and, have them participate. When I said at my last zone meeting I said, so who wants to trade places with me? And some girl from brand new, she's about a month, I told her, come to the zone meeting, She raises her hand, she wants to be a zone chair. And I was like, oh, well, you have to hold a position first. And she's like, well, that is a position. I was like, well, no, in your club first. And then, so I said, I'll work with you. You are a good potential in about a year or two. So, and a different speaker each time. Speakers, that's mine. Does anybody have any questions so far? Am I going too fast? Am I going too slow? Yeah.
When you talk about participation, is it for the number of members that are attending?
Yeah, from the club.
Actually, I like that idea, because getting
Yeah.
more than a couple members from the different clubs is really tough.
It is.
Got to give the other people a reason to come.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And so I thought, well, if I have to do a third year, which I would, I have to help my husband next year, so I can't keep my zone unless we can't fill it, then maybe. But anyways, but no, I don't know why I didn't do it, but I suggested it to the other zones. But I think it's fun, and then people will be like, oh, so we get this trophy, and yes.
Well, for our zone one, I challenged the other clubs to have more members there than Altura, because Altura was the host club.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody took me up on it. Do you know what the prize was? The prize was an autographed Brian Sheehan jersey.
Oh, wow.
Incoming international director president.
Nice.
And nobody took me up on the bet.
Oh my gosh, really?
Jeez, I bet they were bummed after that.
I don't know if they were or not, but I'm going, that was a super cool thing to get.
And yeah, that is really cool. And you can do stuff like that. Maybe it's just something super cool about Lions and it doesn't have to be the same thing every time. But just keep them guessing, make people want to go. So speakers. So your speaker does not have to be a Lions program. Now I learned that. Now I don't know if it's different here. Now, and what I say if it's not part of your district,
I'll do my stuff later.
Okay, so like community speakers. Like I had the hospice. Like what are they called? Oh gosh, it was a business, but they do hospice, and I had them come in and talk. Cause after 2 years, I kind of ran out of like my district chairs, and so. But also you do have, I have to have LCIF there, you have to have, so you want to use the speakers from Lions. But if you do run out of ideas, we were told that we could use some non-Lions programs. And then I did childhood cancer. I actually had a childhood cancer survivor come and talk to our zone. I had Leader Dog recipient there. We have 2 blind kids that live in Sauk Rapids, and they both have Leader Dogs, and they went through the whole program. So they brought their dogs, they came and talked about it. And I also had Leader Dog representation from our district, but I just told them, you're just there to just introduce the speaker. I don't want you to do your program, because then it's too long. So I did that. I had for Hearing Foundation, I had a cochlear implant kid there. When he was 4 years old, he had to get one. And let Lions know what they're supporting with heartfelt speakers. So, sometimes you don't have anybody here, you don't know anybody. I don't know if any of my people are willing to travel, but yeah, there wasn't a dry eye in that meeting from Leader Dog being there. It was just, when they told their story, it was awesome. So yeah, and keep it short, If you have somebody like that, you could go a little bit longer. But if you have a program, 10 to 15 minutes is enough. If anything more than that, people start, playing with their phones, they start, looking away, and then, oh God, this is too long. And I was never good about keeping I tried, but when you get somebody very passionate with their program, they don't know when to stop. And I don't know how to tell them to stop. I just go, oh gosh, I really need to, and then I'm like, 5 more minutes. I'm like, you have got to be done. I'm losing these people. Yeah, 5 minutes. Or there's one guy, our Sartell and Lee Sauk and St. Stephen, they're actually working on an inclusive playground. And they're very passionate about it. They have to raise $400,000. It's crazy. It'll look awesome when they're done. But he wanted to speak at my last zone. I had to give him 10 minutes. I literally, and he kept saying, okay, what's my time? Because he would talk for hours. And I just said, oh, Stu, we've heard you. Yes, I want you to talk because this is, you just got the grant from, Lions International. So yeah. But he kept going, oh, she's going to get mad at me. I was like, oh. Well, no, I'm not going to get mad at you, but so and if you can have the host club takes notes for you, because a lot will happen during your meeting, and when you have to go back to do your reporting, there's times that you're like, oh no, I didn't get that. So just that was just an idea that I had. And recognize clubs and members in your zone from the newsletter. You know, if somebody gets an award or if there's a fundraiser coming up. I said, you know, people love recognition. Usually embarrasses them, but it is still fun. And then they, you know, they kind of, oh, you know, I was just recognized. But they do like that. So I usually go through the newsletter and just highlight anybody in my zone just to kind of embarrass them a little bit by throwing their name out there. And communication is key to success. So guidelines for successful zone meetings: be productive. Always make your meetings fun and interesting, but not too long. Rotate programs so it is not always the same ones. Be sure your host club is engaged. Maybe a little admin, just like I said, the 50-50, the silent auction, door prizes. Socialize and network. Help clubs grow. Think outside the fishbowl. Be creative. I heard that at, I think, the USA Canada Forum. So I had to add that in there. Follow the P's. This was another one that I stole. Proper planning prevents poor performance. And that's really huge, because if you're not prepared and you don't plan and you look very unorganized, they're going to notice, definitely. I mean, that's your zone, you're the leader, you're the one in charge of that meeting. And if you show up, well, I apologize, I did show up, 10 minutes late today. But if you show up late, if you're running around still, and people will go, oh, I don't know about her, she or him, she might not know. But your meeting should be scheduled within 30 to 60 days after the cabinet meeting. Don't forget to report your zone to the district governor, the first vice district, and the second vice district. And don't forget to do your reports. Send reports. We have to send our report to the district governor, first, second, GLT, GST, and GMT. So I have this big long list of everybody I got to attach the email to. And I don't know why they all need it. They probably don't even read it, but hey, send it. You read it? Good. Well, I know some do, but some are like, oh gosh, it's her report again, oh my gosh. Examples, positive quotes on the tables, music, if you want to play some music. Come in, it's not too loud because you don't want to irritate, but if people like music, icebreakers, interactive fun, decorations, greeters, agenda. Definitely you want an agenda, because otherwise, then you got to keep people on task, yourself on task as well. I'll jump back to 9, but always smile, make yourself available. If people, I had a district, or I had a club that was having a hard time reporting. And he was so frustrated because he said, there's 3 reports. I don't know what to do. So I said, I don't either. But I will get you in with the GST. They will help you. I know, and I have one of my GSTs, she's a retired teacher, and she loves to teach. So I said, call her up. I'm not sure how long you'll be on the phone with her, but she will help you. Because always one of the goals is reporting. Not enough happens. And most importantly, have fun. This is a really fun position. So what I do is I make up folders for my zones. In the folder, I usually have like an agenda, and then I print extras, and then a couple pieces of paper in case they want to make notes, and then anything that I'm talking about on my agenda, like club, district governor club visit, there's a membership form in here, officer training. So if anybody wants to look through this, you certainly can. So any questions? How am I doing on time? You're doing fine. Okay. All right. And then I just made some zone chair duties, review zone chair manual, attend zone chair training, become familiar with Lions programs, site, hearing, leader dog, etc. Conduct 4 meetings a year. Our midwinter counts as a meeting, so then it's only 3 for us. Report zone meeting to the district governor. Visit clubs within your zone. Contact clubs with reporting problems and advise your district governor. Attend cabinet meetings and provide oral or written reports. Submit required reports to Lions International. And the qualifications for us is 1 year as a Lions Club member or officer, ability to communicate programs to Lions Club zone, and interest in furthering Lionism. So, that's all I know. So, so, any other questions for me?
So I have one.
Yes.
And maybe this is going to be touched upon. So I've been a zone chair, I still am zone chair from this current year. I wasn't really aware of these reports. And I mean, I'm just curious, what does that entail? Because I don't believe I ever did one. Sorry.
I think there might be a couple samples in what I gave you, or up
With your
here,
packet?
or, yeah, or up here.
Yeah,
And maybe
And I'm just,
not.
I mean, is there
and
like?
here's
a-
ours, but I don't know if your guys' is different.
Is there like a form that was supposed
Yeah.
to be filled out?
Yeah.
that-
Yep, and it's online, or you can, hand it to me too.
Oh.
But,
sorry.
after every zone meeting, you should fill out one, and then if you could do a club visit, you should fill out one. And we've got samples, and I got all your names, I can also send you stuff email too, if you think you don't have it, or you wanna have it on a form where you can just fill it in and hit send and get it back to us. And it usually goes to the district governor, the second and the first.
Don't feel bad because I knew about them and didn't do it, so.
I thought somebody else did them, I don't know.
You know, yeah, we had a zone chair this year, and she, after officer training, she came up to me and she goes, "What? Who keeps talking about reports? What are these reports?"
Exactly.
And I was just like, oh, because she came in late after our zone training, and so I just sent her my report. I said, copy paste, erase it, do it. This is the report that I send, and then you just you send it off, and then it's 1 page. It's pretty easy.
They're easy to do, yeah.
Yeah. So
They
if this
just lets
isn't,
us know what's going on, and then if you have anything that's, you're going, I don't like what I'm seeing, or it looks like there's a problem there, and they could use some help, then you let us know that so that we can start to see if we can help.
yes.
Can you tell me what was the age of the kids that had the leader dog?
They were, so 27 and 20.
Okay, so they weren't,
21.
I was thinking they were young kids.
No, you have to be, you can
have to be
start
16.
training, yep, 16, and then it was like a 2-year training for him. But they actually, these 2 kids, they have 4 kids, 2 girls, 2 boys. It only affected the boys. But Matthew is actually our daughter's age, and he's 27. He started to go blind at 12. So when they watch football and when, he saw all that, so he knows what it is. Jacob, the younger brother, was 1 when he started to lose his sight. So, and it only affects the boys and not the girls.
A rare disease.
Yeah, it is. So, and they have talked at, like our midwinters before, and they're just so willing to share their story because they're so grateful for Lions and having that opportunity to. Matthew's on his 2nd leader dog because Archer was his first one and he got cancer and they lost him. But yeah, Jacob, this is his first one. But yeah, they had to train and go to leader dog and do all that. So yeah. So.
I'm just wondering if everybody here knows what all those, like the GMT and GLT and GAT.
No.
Yeah, and that's one of my things I'm gonna talk about. Yeah. And it's true, we don't. We all throw it out there and
Oh yeah.
and it's
see-
like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, we get in trouble for that too.
Yeah, that came back as one of the comments from the
Yes.
session we had last week.
Yeah.
That there's all these acronyms and people don't really know what
They
they're
don't know.
about.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah, and we throw them out there, like everybody knows.
Yeah, we do.
We
And they
do.
just- yeah.
It's,
Well, it's that way in everything. If you go into a hospital, they start throwing things at you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, all right, well, thank you guys so much for your time and listening to me. I hope I was helpful. It was what I was going for. So, but I will leave this up here in case you guys want to look through it and, you know, see what I'll give to the clubs.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I'm Susan, in case you don't know, but I think maybe you all do. Thank you very much for stepping up and saying yes to being a zone chair. It's very important. You are the link between the district and the clubs. And I'm going to say things that Trish has already said, but that's okay because they say that it takes 3 to 7 times hearing something before it actually starts to sink in. So I'm going to be repeating some things. Try to schedule your year and use it as a guide. So kind of think right now of the things you started to hear. Can I kind of schedule when I'm going to do stuff throughout the year so that it doesn't sneak up on you and you go, oh, yeah, September, I'm supposed to have something and I haven't kind of even planned it yet. And I'm also going to say the same thing as Trish says, have fun. This is the best position on the cabinet. I firmly believe that. It's the most fun of all the positions on the cabinet because you get to really get to know a lot of host clubs and really get to know a lot of Lions. And it's just so much fun to do it. You'll find that as the year goes on. Are you all connected to LCI so that you can log in and navigate? Have you all been on LCI?
Used to.
You haven't done?
I used to.
You used to? Okay. You might want to do it again, to give it a try. One of the things, Pat,
I've never been on it.
you never been on it?
We tried to get on LCI several years ago and couldn't get it.
Because there's so much stuff out there. Even if you just go on to the Lions organization website, you can probably get
Oh,
into
I've gone
something.
onto that.
You can get some stuff in there too. But the LCI, because there's the learning, you can have learning modules that talk you through a lot of things. There's also some training for how to be a president, a secretary. So if you have somebody that's having an issue in your zone, you can talk to them about it and tell them that they can actually go on and there's a program on LCI that they can get the extra training they might need. So if you have a chance, or just go onto the Lions site and just navigate around and find out what's there, because there's so much information out there that we're not using, and it's there. They've put it out there. They've developed it for us, and we're not seeming to use it like we should. She talked about the district goals. I didn't bring those today, although I did bring the SWOT analysis, which is over there. If you want to quickly look through, that is service, membership, leadership, and LCI. That was done during Matt's year, and we picked it up for Carrie and I, and we're going to move it on to Terry and Bill's year. The clubs and the Lions themselves gave us information about what they thought about the strength of our district. So that's a big packet over there if you want to just quickly look through it. And if you want copies of it, I can email it to you because I have it on my computer. But there was a session, Vanessa was here. Tim, were you at the goal setting one?
Yes.
Yes, he was, because he did the leadership one. We had a special session that I invited a lot of Lions throughout the whole district to come. And I think 13 or so of us were here that day. And we wrote out goals, action plan goals for our district. And we will be working on those. And like I said, they have to do with service, leadership, and membership. At the first cabinet meeting, you will be getting copies of what those goals are, what we are looking at, what we're striving for throughout this next year. So you will be getting copies of it. So that's the district goals. Do you know that you have a budget? $150. Every zone chair has $150. You can use it for mileage. You can use it for supplies if you're going to be printing out a lot of things or sending out something in the mail. at the cost of gas right now, it might not go very far, but you do have $150. I want to tell you that we have had $150 for zone chairs in our budget for I don't know how many years. You have a clue how many years? Zone chairs are afraid to use it. Please use it. Because I tell you that when we went to we've worked on the proposed budget for this coming year, looked at that, it's like, if they don't start using it pretty soon, we're not going to give it to them. Why should we plan $900 in the budget and no one uses it? So it's there for you to use. Please, you'll make me so happy if by the end of next year, you've all sent in some kind of an expense sheet for the cost of mileage, whatever, stamps, whatever, ink for your computer, whatever you need for your printer. And there is an actual form that you fill out for that and send to the treasurer. I can give you copies of that. Email me and say, I need a copy of that form for the expense for the district, and I will send you one. I just didn't want to print up a whole bunch of stuff. Yes, Joe?
If Lions start to see that people are using that money, it might allow some other Lions that maybe financially are
Not
not
able.
necessarily able
Correct.
to say, I could do that if I can get reimbursed.
If I knew that I was going to get some, traveling money or something to be a zone chair, correct. Yeah, but people have not been using it. I think they're afraid. And I have to say, I was a zone chair for 2 years and I didn't turn in anything. And it's like, I only didn't do it because nobody else was doing it. Please, I'm begging you to do it. Please do it. It's there for you. And gas is expensive. Yes, Terry?
I just want to mention that form you can get at our 5M1 website, but on that form, it says to email it to some group. Don't do that. Email it to the district governor and the treasurer.
Yeah. Yeah. And you'll have a new treasurer next year, just so you know that there will be a new treasurer next year, and a new district secretary too. But that'll all take place July 1st. There's a lot, I'm talking about references, there's a lot of them on the LCI and on the Lions website. There's the Learn modules. I've had to do a number of them in my training to becoming a district governor. But there's a whole bunch of them there. Conflict resolution, financials, building a plan. I can't even think of all of them, but there's a whole bunch of different modules that you can take, and they last from 20 minutes to half an hour, 45 minutes at the most, and they just take you through things page by page by page. You have a little quiz like, what did you remember? They don't correct, if you said it wrong, it doesn't matter. You're still gonna get the credit, and at the end they'll start showing the credits that you've built up as a Lion, knowing more about Lionism. They're free for you to use, so think about using them. There's also an MD5M, Multiple District 5M. That's a website. That's something else you should check out and find out what's going on in the multiple. There's also our district website. Hopefully, we will have a calendar that's really up to date. We'll try to keep that going as much as we can. Sometimes it's hard to get that all on there like we're supposed to, but we have an IT and a Facebook person, and hopefully that person will keep those calendars up to date. We have our calendar set for this next year, and when I say we, it's your leadership team. It's Carrie is past, Terry is first, Bill is second, and me is coming in as DG. We have met, we have planned out our whole year. We know when most things are going to happen, and that'll automatically be on there as close to July 1st as possible. So you can go on our district website and you will see this is when the zone meetings are. This is when the fall forum is. This is when USA Canada is. Whatever. It should be on that calendar. We're going to try to keep it up as much as we possibly can. That's kind of a goal of ours this year. Next thing is acronym. I don't know. I have found some that have been put out by some other people. In fact, Joanne Ogden from Canada put one out. The thing of it is, some of the ones that are on that are outdated already, like Merlot. We don't use Merlot anymore. But I'll see if I can't get you that list. and then maybe correct some of the ones that are no longer there. Because GMT is your global membership team. GLT is your global leadership team. Tim is in charge of that. Just past district governor, soon to be past district governor, Carrie is going to be your membership, GLT. And Julie Carlbloom from Byron is going to remain on as GST, which is global service. But there's a whole bunch of other acronyms out there. But those are the ones we've been using a lot lately because they're pushing that global effect. It was NAMI, if you remember NAMI, that's turned into be just something in North America that is now worldwide, and that's why they're calling it global. That's how it kind of moved up to global. So does any of it making sense so far, folks? I don't want to lose you because there's a lot of things out there. Meetings. She talked a lot about that. She's really covered that quite well. Have fun at those meetings. And your leadership team has decided that we're going to kind of do a push on 3 things this year for our zone chairs. So that's going to kind of, our zone meetings, that's going to kind of help you out a little bit on finding programs. So the regional one in September is Zone 1 and Zone 2, Vanessa and Pat. That date is going to be, Region 1 is going to be September 22nd. Region 2, 3, and 4, that's going to be Gary and Claudia, September 6th. And Chris and Kevin, Region 3 is September 27th. We are going to focus on service. Not only reporting service, but new service projects, or how do you get service projects going. So Julie's going to be kind of in charge of that. But that one, you need to have your host club have a big enough place, something like this place, because that's the one where all your different chairs come in. Project New Hope, Leader Dog, Vision, Hearing. Everybody comes in with their booth, and then you need space to set that up, and you need space for people to walk around and go to those booths and talk to them.
Is that like the midwinter convention then?
Well, it's set up that
Similar.
same way. Those are the 2 times that they get to bring their booths and talk to you about what's going on.
Okay.
Right.
And
And the
that's-
regional is the first one.
And
And
that,
that's
you
the
said that was
September
in
one.
September?
That's the September one. yeah.
Okay.
Do you have a list of who's hosted these the last couple of years?
I tried to find that, and you know what?
You can't find it.
It's not that I can't find it. It's an outdated form that they won't print. It won't print. But that's something that maybe we can work on helping them get going. Because there was one that was, year by year by year. Because that's what you should try to do, is rotate your clubs. You should, and if you can remember who did it last year, who did the region meeting last year, who did the November meeting, and who did the March meeting. Use those 3 and then build on them for this year. Because but that way, if you keep turning that over, you'll know almost automatically who should be the next club to do the hosting.
Yeah.
Because, okay, so-and-so's had a chance, so-and-so, so-and-so, okay, you're it, because, it's your turn. And as part of the zone, take your turn, please. We'd like you to do that. And that kind of rotates your group. Kevin, do you do that here?
Yes, Zone 3, we've done that, we've
Yeah.
alternated back and forth.
Yeah.
COVID Fitness Group thing,
Past
so.
District Governor Barb, that's what she did, but she had a sheet that was
Yes, and that's the
made out
sheet I
for
had.
2 years.
That's
I
the
wonder by
sheet I-
chance if she still has that.
Well, I could ask her, but when I went in for it, it just said, nope, I can't format it the right way. Now, somebody that's an IT person probably could, but I couldn't. I couldn't get it, because I wanted to have that for you to show you how to set up one like that. But that's something too, if you don't get it and you want, just email me and I'll try to find it, or I'll make.
I'll have Joe make me one.
He's in for a really bad year. And he's beginning to pick that up, I think. We're supposed to be a team, right, Terry?
Can you repeat the dates of the region meeting?
The region, do you want that again? Okay, you're region 1 and 2, so you're region 1, and you are,
September 22nd.
yeah, September's 22nd.
Okay.
Yep. Then for the November meetings, Zone 1, November 15th, and there will be a calendar that comes out also July 1st, but I'm just giving you the dates now. You're November 15th. Zone 2, November 17th. Zone 3, November 27th. Or 22nd, excuse me. That's the one we had a question on because it should have been November 8th, but that's an election day. So I think we moved that one to the Tuesday before Thanksgiving, the 22nd. The reason that all happened is, I was telling Claudia about this, we have to look at a calendar and we have to see all the meetings of all the clubs, and then we have to find a date where your zone does not have some club meeting so that they can come to the zone meeting. And it gets to be really tricky. It really does. But that's why your dates are kind of set up that way. It's when most clubs in your zone are not meeting so they can attend the zone meeting. So I believe that one is the 22nd. And Zone 4 is November 14th. Zone 5 is November 2nd. And Zone 6 is November 6th. For March, Zone 1, March 23rd. Zone 2, March 21st. Zone 3, March 14th. Zone 4, March 13th. Zone 5, March 28th. Zone 6, March 20th. So you should have your dates that you can start working on finding a host club. Sooner you do it, the better it is for you. So the next thing is secure your host clubs, the sooner the better, which is kind of what I just said. And a timely notice of all the meetings and clubs so that you have to remember that some clubs in your zone might meet that very first week in the month. So if you decide it's good to do a 6 weeks or more, get that flyer out saying this is when the zone meeting's going to be, this is going to be the host, this is what the food is, this is how much it's going to cost, and this is the person, which is usually the zone chair, that you have to call your number to by such and such a date. And I have some samples of ones that have been done in the past on that table there if you want to just take a look at them. And once again, if you want me to send you a few for just use for guiding, I can do that. So a good 6 weeks ahead of time. 2 months is not bad either, because there are a lot of clubs that meet that very first week. Does El Toro meet the first week of the month?
The second Monday, right?
What?
Second
First.
Monday? It's just
No,
that,
we
First.
meet the first Monday of the
yeah,
month.
see, and we
Gotta
meet the
ask
first,
Pat.
our club meets the first Wednesday, and if they, lots of times we don't get the flyer, and it's like, well, we've already had a meeting, you know? So get it out soon so that they
A
know.
lot
when-
of them don't have meetings in the summertime either.
That's true too. Mhm. That's true too. So cabinet meetings, the other thing I would like you to talk about is, as Trish told you, plan some fun events. Lions used to sing. I don't know when they quit singing. But a little song, whether it's, oh, MacDonald went to, I don't know, or a patriotic song, or an uplifting, send in the clouds, whatever. Whatever you know that people know the words for. It does something to you. It kind of gets you moving a little bit. And don't sing like the Methodists, because I'm a Methodist and we just sing so like, oh, okay, I'm gonna sing now. No, don't do that. You know, so, something like that. Do a little game, have a little fun, decorate, give them a little treat. Everybody likes a treat. So, you can think of things, and if you have a hard time yourself thinking of it, find another person in your club, find another person in your family, a good friend, somebody else that's good at that, and let them help you do it. Maybe they'll become a lion for all you know. But you don't have to say, well, I don't know how to do that, so I'm not going to do it. You can ask other people to help you. That's just fine. That's okay. More people, the better it is. Think about a service project. It wouldn't be so bad to have a really small service project at your zone meeting. Something that's simple to do, that makes them feel good about coming to that meeting and going home. If you have a place that you can take canned goods to, have a canned good drive for food, for hunger. Make Valentines and take them to some little, some nursing home or some extended living place. I mean, you can think of something that's really simple, but it's a service that everybody can be a part of, and it only takes 5 minutes of your time at the meeting to do it. Very simple. Make an effort to visit all the clubs, and most of you have 8 or 9. So between July 1st and June 30th, we really would like you to make an effort to visit every one of the clubs in your zone. And I don't know how many, Kevin, have you been able to do that in the past? Okay.
I have not.
Okay. It's not that you have to, but it's something we'd like you to do. We're just going to tell you, it really is nice. And I remember the first time I went to a couple of the clubs, they said, we've never seen the zone chair before. What do you do here? So you're not the speaker. You just call them up and say, I see you are meeting on such and such a date. I'd like to come and just visit your club. And you just go. You participate with them, whatever they're doing, listen to their program. Sometimes you have to pay for your meal. Sometimes they pay for your meal, but be prepared for that. And then you write up a little report that say, hey, they had a secretary's report, they had a treasurer's report, they just had a fundraiser, they're going to do a fundraiser. The speaker was a Lion speaker, the speaker was a community speaker. They had no speaker at all. They sang, they did the pledge. They wore name badges. You know, how does that club function? There's no right way, no wrong way, but it's just kind of to get a feel for that club. So, if you have a chance, we'd appreciate it if you tried to get to every club within the year. Yes.
Are we going to get a list of the clubs?
Sure, we can get you that, the list for your zone.
Because I know we don't get the book anymore.
Yeah.
You need a new one?
That will be coming your way within a week. Okay? Put that in my I better put that down here. 1 week, Susan. Okay. Pardon?
Email.
Yeah. Do you-
No, I'm the email of the club, the president or whoever.
We have, there's issues with that. You have to get their permission to do that.
How
But,
do we contact them?
okay. Once we get that list of July 1st, when it's flipped over to the new one, then we can do that. But you do have to be somewhat careful on sending things out to people that haven't given permission to have their information given out. But usually once it goes on there as the president, the secretary, the treasurer, that's the permission that you can start using your email. No, that's fine.
If
Nope.
you go to My LCI, that information is on there
Yeah.
for your zone, so you can see the contact.
If they submitted their PU 101, yeah.
If
So-
you get contact information, the contact person, but just when the club meets.
No, you should have, if they have sent in their information, you should have the president, the secretary, and treasurer for sure.
You can see all their members.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And you can,
Some of the clubs that don't.
right, we know that.
We don't need a code to get in there.
Yeah, that one they do have. That one they do have to
Okay.
get in, to get into the club. They have to have you have to have your email and then whatever your password is. Those two
How do you
things.
get password?
You have to set up a password.
Okay, a password.
Yeah.
Okay.
Once that's set up, then you should be able to go into and find your club. Yeah, and once I have put you in as a zone chair, if you went in as Pat, they wouldn't let you. But if I set you up as a zone chair, which I will be doing before July 1st, then you should be able to get it. Yeah.
The rest of them might have access to the rest.
You should,
I
Kevin,
do. I
you
get in there
should.
multiple
Yeah,
times.
you should, and Chris should too. But all the rest of you are new, so, yeah. And if you need help with that, Earl will help you, Gary will help you, I will help you. You will get help on that. Okay, then there is, so, and I guess what I just said about the zone, visiting the zone, it's not a presentation, it's to observe, it's to encourage, and it's to congratulate them for what they are doing. That's basically what you're there for. And then you report back to the district just what you saw, and so that we know that that club is functioning and doing well, or maybe you'll see that they could use some help. They're saying, we don't have any new service projects, we don't know what to do, we want to disband. Whoa! You know, so that just helps us to know. So remember, you're the link between the district and the club. That's who you are. You're very valuable people. So, there are 4 cabinet meetings in the year, which we encourage you to attend. Once again, we don't say that you have to, but we really strongly encourage it. One will be in July. I have to have it within 30 days of the time that I am officially district governor. So there'll be one in July. There will be one the last week in October. It will be held right after the fall forum. The fall forum will be in the morning. We'll have a lunch and then we'll have the cabinet meeting. The next one will be at our multiple in January. And the last one will be in June. We have the dates set up and everything. July 1st, all this stuff will just kind of start falling into place for you.
In January, it's the midwinter.
At midwinter on Friday night. And we encourage you to attend those, and if you can't attend it, it would be nice if you could just hand in a report saying, this is what's been going on in my zone the past quarter. It's nice to have that.
There's a June meeting set. I mean, the one coming up, there's one next month, you said.
My July one?
I thought you said June.
No, that'll be next year, June of,
Okay,
Terry should have one June this year.
okay, there
But
there should be one coming up.
There should be one coming up under Terry's year. Yeah, under Terry's year. I do it all the time. It's terrible, it's horrid. I have a Terry and a Carrie. They're gonna beat up on me someday. I'm gonna start calling you something else too, I don't know what, but we'll go there. And it's good to have a group email in relation to what your question was for all of the clubs. If you could get a group address, get them all into one group, so that when you send out something, that'll work. And send out notices from time to time, because there's so much stuff going on. And they get the newsletter, or we send them a flyer, and as I said, things have to be told you 2, 3, 4, 5 times before you really go, oh yeah, that's something I have to pay attention to. We have Jungle Days in August, we have USA Canada Forum in September, we have the Fall Forum in October, we have got Midwinter in January, there's RLLI training that's coming up, and I do have the form on the table there. The Defeat Walk will be in June of this year. There'll also be one in June of next year, which will be under our year. There's the Eyeball and the Thanksgiving for Vision in November. No, I think it's October. We moved our date back for that. the multiple convention next year. It was gonna be in St. Cloud.
Yes, yay, it's the St. Cloud. Finally.
The internet, did you hear from that country?
Wait, come to our world, we're fun. St. Cloud.
She is fun, and she's also trouble.
Trouble, yeah, it's really hard to sit at the table with me. I get in trouble.
The international convention next year will be in Boston. That's a pretty neat town to go to. And just remember, there's elections in April that kind of make sure that all your clubs are paying attention to elections. And then in May, they make sure that they get their PU 101 reports in. So you're kind of the in-between to kind of remind them of all these things that are going on. So when you get the newsletter, look at it, look at the district website, so that you kind of know what's going on and what's coming up next, so that you can kind of remind the clubs in too. Because you're the in-between person. You're the one that helps us get things out. So, Harry, you have anything you'd like to say?
Just a couple things. For the region, normally they try to switch the meetings between the zones, a lot back and forth. So like this year was in Adams, zone 4. So you might want to see if you can do it in zone 3 someplace. It's not always going to work because you can't always find a club
The right
posted,
place.
but, you know, that's what they try to do. And then the other thing is, for you zone chairs, submit articles to the newsletter as well. You know, submit when you're having one meeting, you know, the registration information for the newsletter, or even other articles that you want to put in.
Kevin, you've been pretty good on that. Getting that done, I think.
Which newsletter are we talking about?
The district one, yeah.
Yeah, don't be afraid to send them.
Nope. They're always looking for, Heidi Munson from the Winona Rivertown will be the newsletter editor next year, so you will also get that information. But you can submit stuff. They're always looking for stuff to make our newsletter look interesting.
Any way we can find out what zone had it last year?
You know, I was trying to think between 1 and 2. Wondering if Mike had it down by, if zone 2 had it. Do you remember where the
It was
region?
Goes to Winona, I think.
Was it Winona that did it? The region
I
one?
think so.
Could have been.
Yes, they did.
Okay, I'm just trying to remember.
It was in the American Legion.
At the American Legion? Okay, so,
They don't purge the calendar from last year. Many times it's listed on
if
the
you,
calendar.
or go, if you have the old district, if you go and look at the old district newsletters, which are online, and the,
Yeah,
you can maybe find it there where it was held.
Takes a
Yeah.
little work, but.
Yeah, yeah. So, anyone else? Yes, go ahead.
Just have a quick double check here again, because I was putting these zone meetings in my own calendar. Did you say November 6th for the zone 6 meeting? That's a Sunday.
Okay, so then I have the wrong date.
I mean, is that the date you said, though, the 6th?
I said the 6th. Yeah.
But that is a Sunday, so I
Okay.
think.
Did you happen to have that on your,
I'm gonna have to.
if not, I can,
I mean, typically, we don't do them on the.
no, you don't, that's,
So,
I put in the wrong, I put zone 6, November 6th, I'm sure.
okay.
So, Kevin, I'm writing you down here. You need a different date. Thank you for bringing that up. We don't want it to go too long without getting it corrected. What else would you like to know? There are some things there. There's something called the e-book. I made just one copy, but it's online. You can get it. And I didn't know if you wanted to print it out and have it printed copy, or if you just wanted to put it in, you know, save it and keep it so that you can go look at it. But it has a lot of information. It also has a lot of links where you just press on the link and it'll go to the topic that you want to find information. And that's that white one there that's got yellow and red and blue on it. If you want to take a quick look at that, that is also online for you.
In 5M1 or in?
That's on the LCI website, yep. Yep. Also the district, Earl, past Council Chair Earl, and past District Governor Council Chair Matt, we got those CCs and, they have been working on the long-range planning, and they have started to upload job descriptions, and they will also have job descriptions for like Leader Dog, and they'll have action plans and stuff for you. So they're slowly uploading that. So if you want to go in, you might find, I think they have 3 dates that they were going to try to get that in there so that you can go and see, find out more information about any one of the programs that we have in our district. So they've been working hard on that for the last couple of years, and they're starting to upload it now. So that's on there. It's a lot of stuff that's online now. I'm a paper person, but there's a lot of stuff online. And I have learned over the past few years through my training that I just need to go in and look at it, and I learn a lot. I learn a lot. So remember, have as much fun as you possibly can. If you think of an idea and you think, well, I wonder if this is out, we shouldn't maybe do that, I don't think that's right. I think what you should say is, I think we should do that. I think we should have some fun. I think we want to have people go home and say, boy, I'm going to go back to the next zone meeting and go back to their clubs and say, you know what, it wasn't like it used to be. It's a lot different now. They're up in their game. So we are going to have GMT, which is membership, at the November meetings. That's going to be the theme. We will probably bring a speaker in from outside. Global membership. That's going to be our theme for November. We've decided to do it this way, kind of a little different than going out and getting your program. We're going to concentrate on those 3 because they're the ones that are new that people are all confused about. And then in March, it's going to be GLT, which is leadership. And that's Tim's group, but we'll probably get somebody from outside to be the major speaker. And remember, you're coming up to elections, and it'll be good to have some talk about leadership skills. It might be a lion, it might be some professional that works in leadership. We don't know, we haven't even talked about it yet, but it's going to be a little different.
September meetings are just all the,
They're going to come, the booths are going to be there, but Julie's going to be talking about service.
okay.
Julie's talking about service. We are also, because all of the people that come and bother to set up their booths and stuff, to be really honest here, folks, that set up their booths, have said nobody comes to them, nobody signs up for a program. We come, we bring everything. So we're going to try something a little different where they're going to have to go to the booth and they're going to have to get a stamp or something. And then we're going to have some prizes for, you know, how many booths did you go to? How many, who signed up the most programs to come to their club or whatever. We're going to just try to make people a little bit more engaged. Whether it'll work or not, we don't know. But they do a lot of, it takes a lot to haul all that stuff to the meeting, set it all up. Joe, you know.
Absolutely.
Set it all up,
You gotta get aggressive. I had to get aggressive.
and then nobody even bothers to come.
Chase them around the floor.
So we
Say
all-
I haven't been there for a while. Sorry.
No, that's fine, no. And so it's like, well, maybe we just scrap that and we never do that anymore. And then right away people go, well, I want to know where the booth is. Well, then go visit that booth, please. Yes, Tim?
Some of the conferences I've been to where they have expos where businesses are at, they make you go to each of the booths, get a ticky mark, and then you can enter the raffle.
Yep. We're going to
Unless
do
you have a
something.
full sheet, you can't enter it.
Yeah, we're going to
And
have,
so
we're going to
people
try
just walk
something.
around, and you can prize are really nice.
Yeah.
They'll just walk around and say hi. But that always, brings people to the booth, and then, they might be interested.
Right.
So
So we're
that's-
trying
that's
something
a
different.
different idea.
Yeah, we're trying
Like a
something different.
scavenger hunt.
Yeah, it's gotta be
Find
different
Candy
because,
Canines,
because-
find, Project New Hope.
yeah, because these guys, that takes a lot to haul all that stuff there, set it all up, take it all down, and nobody bothers to visit the booth. Yeah,
On Saturday, like at the Midwinter Convention,
they're gonna do it
the
again.
public is invited, right? To come and look at those booths, or are they not?
I don't believe so, but that's a good question.
Because it seems like it's the same people year after year, that come to the convention and look at the booth. But if we could get the public to come and look at it, we might even get more money.
It'd have to be set up, it would have to,
be.
be. Yeah, I was gonna say, it's gonna have to be set up, Claudia, but I wrote it down. We're having a midwinter meeting tomorrow night. I don't know the way we're set up right now, if that would work with them coming in and not, but it's not something that we can't think about and figure out if maybe we could do it
Or
somehow.
even set it up for a different part of the year to where we could do it separate. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, more
So
like
that
an
we could
expo
invite-
type thing,
Yeah, more an expo so we could get the
Yeah.
public in there.
That would be a good thing for like 2 or 3 clubs in an area to go together and work on and have it at one place. But not only the booths, but more about Lionism and bring in a leader dog person or a Project Hope person or something. And,
It's a membership day.
yeah, it's almost like a membership thing, but you don't have to address it as that.
Right.
Here, learn about Lions.
Yep.
But when she talks about most of the, being the same people, well, they are, they're the past district governors and all of that. Maybe try to get more of the, Lions coming from the different clubs, not
Yep.
not the ones that have the titles, but the
Yeah.
plain, the other.
The regular, salt of the earth, the regular old lion, salt of the earth.
Like cabinet members do your cell phones and do like.
Anytime.
Breakfast and stuff. and
Yep.
you can do this place there.
Well, that's a good idea,
I'm kind of hoping that I have enough energy that I can get to a few pancake breakfasts and spaghetti dinners and chicken pews and help out next year, but it all depends on how much energy I have. I deal with myasthenia gravis, which is a muscle disease, and sometimes I just don't have a lot of energy left over.
I'm hoping I have enough energy to keep up with it. What was the date for November that you requested?
No, well,
Zone
we
6.
had listed November 6th for the Zone 6 meeting, which is
Zone
Sunday.
6.
Zone 6 is November 9th.
November 9th.
Okey
It's a
dokey.
Wednesday.
Yeah, that's, now I remember seeing that and penciled in, so, okay. And you will get calendars on that too. We'll see that you get them. And you guys came up with some good ideas. That's great. That's what we're here for. Share the ideas. So, Vanessa, any other questions? Okay. Gary, any other questions? Okay. Pat?
No, I think I answered all mine.
Okay. Claudia? You good? Kevin?
I have a question.
Okay. I like it.
So the health assessment reports that get emailed to us,
Mhm.
where are they generated from? And are we supposed to do anything with those, or is that just for our general knowledge?
It's your general knowledge, but if it's somebody in your zone, pay attention to it. And if you feel like we're not paying attention to it, bring it to our attention and say, hey, what are you doing with Club so-and-so? I see that their numbers are dropped, or they haven't reported their service for 90 or 120 days or
Well, that's
whatever.
why we've got a couple
Yeah.
of those.
Yeah, and that's,
But that's based on the PU 101 information that gets put in and club reports.
the
that
club
all goes
reports
to
that the
LCI.
secretaries are supposed to be putting in. Or if they have a club administrator. One of those two should be putting those in monthly. And then that gets generated at the international level and comes back to us.
That's
Yeah.
what I was wondering.
Yep. Mhm. So pay attention to your zone.
As zone chair, I've contacted some of the folks, and, I've kept an eye on who's reporting, who's doing their LCIF and stuff. I send an email, not specifically to a club generally, we had one that they were kind of interested in. I'll send out a letter to the names. We have 7 of 9 clubs that have donated LCIF, considered donating, stuff like that.
And LCIF, does everybody understand the importance of LCIF? Lions Club International Foundation. And how much they do worldwide, and how you can just give $1, or you can give $1,000, do whatever you want, is very important. And that is another thing that they pay attention to, how our district reports. And if we have clubs that are not reporting, if we decide we want a grant, you know how many people are out there looking for grants? If we're a district that's not reporting like we should be reporting, we might not get our grant. Because there's other districts that are paying attention and are actually saying, yes, we have so many members, yes, we have donated to LCI, yes, we've done this service project and that service project, whatever it might be. There is a little bit of, hey, is this district paying attention and they want money, or is this district not paying attention and they want money? And that's not wrong, because that's what all of them do. All of them have criteria. All foundations have criteria. So,
A really good example is tornado that went through Keokee. There were 3 clubs that had $500.
That was actually
matched by the district. It was matched by the district. We tried to get an international one, but there were not 100 people affected. I think there was close to 100. There is a guideline for 100. There has to be 100 people affected by a tornado, flood, fire, or something, major fire, and then you do the grant. They were short. That was it was a very small community.
Yeah, I think the whole community is like
80, yeah, so that was it, because we did try. So what happened is individual clubs took on a family, sent it to the district for our district emergency fund, and we matched, and that's how that happened.
Yeah, we're trying to do that with Keokee.
Yep, that's the name of it, yep.
Yeah, Keokee, yeah.
So you need to send that to Gail, who's the emergent, and then she sends it to the district governor. First and second are the people who approve that. They look at the criteria, they look at the guidelines that are set up, and then if they all approve it, then it goes here.
Yeah, I think Matt was working on trying to get some names for the, you know, the people in their town. So
That haven't already gotten it, yeah, because we don't want to double do it, it has to be different people. Yeah. So I think some more people will be getting some as soon as we find out who hasn't gotten some.
that would be so helpful for
Yep.
them.
We had a lot of, I don't know a lot, we had at least some other clubs in the district as well that donated to the general fund as well. I know our clubs did.
And sometimes some of those don't fit the criteria, but that doesn't mean that the club can't set up something at the bank for that, whatever it might be, or do a fundraiser. They still can support. Any other questions? I don't even know how time-wise what I did, but. Tim, I think it's back to you.
Yeah, we just got the wrap up, so.
Thank you all.
Thanks, District Governor-elect. I appreciate your words and everything you provided for everybody here. I think all we have left is to wrap up. Is there any comments or questions anybody wants to bring up? I think we have a thank you for we have some door prizes as a thank you for those of you for everyone who attended. So what?
Trish,
Yeah,
you do one.
Trish, why don't you pick one?
There's these two items up here, the two things there.
So-
It's the holiday weekend coming up, I thought you could use something in. Pat, you can pick what you want.
I think Trish, you should try and pronounce that last name.
I was like,
I'm sorry, I couldn't resist.
Try it.
Schlickemeyer?
Yeah, there you go. Good job.
Wow.
Tim, why don't you
Not
do that?
bad.
Okay.
Do you know the arms?
The arms.
Deb and
Oh,
Barb?
Deb and Bob Harms? Yeah, they're in our club.
Vanessa,
Okay.
Yes.
We,
just what you
we're
wanted, bunch of
Project
cookies.
New Hope, so we're up there all the time.
Okay, yeah.
Before that, who's that?
Well, thanks everyone for coming. I think it was a really, I felt there's a lot of good
Okay, so
information that
you're
was
part of
shared.
New Hope?
Do you have any final words
Okay,
that
so
you'd
is
like to
my
say?
heart. Vince,
It's not,
yeah.
except if there's anything
Okay.
here you want to
Yep,
look
yep.
at, so that you can.
Of course,
you'll
he's
find
not
it
gonna
on
do
the
it next year.
internet or something,
'cause
you look
he'll
at
be
those
district
right there.
governor, but-
Yes.
And there is some
Yeah.
food left
Bob
out there
and
if you
Deb
want to
Harms
go
are
grab something.
amazing. Oh my
And,
gosh.
For the next month, I still have
You probably
access
don't know Dan
to
and
my
Michelle.
LCI as a
He was
zone
district
chairman.
governor with Joe
So I
back
can
in
see what
11,
you guys will see. So if anybody wants to look at that, I can show you how that, and I think.
That's a good,
maybe
that's
they're in
useful to
there
know.
now, So I think you can actually access it, at least part of it now, but I can show you, from my point of view, what you'll be able to see and stuff. And then at work today, I found some stickers, and for Tim doing such a great job, it says, "Coolest dude in the jungle."
Thank you.
Awesome.
I appreciate it. And one of the things I do want to remind everybody, and these guys reminded me of this during our officer training, the leadership team is here to help you. It's Terry, Susan, Carrie, and also Bill, who's not here tonight, but they are the district governor team, and they are here to help you, and don't be afraid to call them. I think sometimes people are intimidated calling the leaders of the district, but in actuality, they're here to help, and they're glad to help. So thank you, and call me too, or email me. You'll probably get a hold of me a little easier, but I want to encourage everyone to do that. So thank you all for coming, and meeting adjourned.
Thank you.
From every walk of life, we share our time. From all over the globe, we're changing lives. We put smiles back on the faces of friends, strangers, and neighbors who might need a hand. Yeah, we understand. We are the women and men who come from the